Alrighty guys, hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Kat, and today I'm gonna try and film 2 wrap-up videos very quickly because I have to run downtown. Today is my husband's birthday, so I'm trying to meet him after work, and then we're gonna go have a birthday party at one of his favorite Japanese restaurants. So right before we start, I would like to just say that for all of the translated books, please look down in the information below if you would like to see who translated the books and which editions I read. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right on into the video. So the first book I would like to talk about is The Palace of Dreams by Ismail Kadare, an Albanian writer. So in this one, we follow Mark Allam, who is a man from a very important Albanian family, and he is given a job at the Palace of Dreams. And as he moves up in the rank from sorter to interpreter to master dream interpreter, he has to sieve through the different dreams that come from people throughout the country, and they are looking for the master dream. And the master dream tells the future of the Empire of Albania. I was really excited for this book. I love dystopians. However, I found the way in which the story was told to be really repetitive, and Mark Allam as a main character to be really boring and actually quite passive. I also found the plot to be a bit predictable and slow, so overall I gave it 2 stars. This book just wasn't for me. So the next book I'd like to talk about is Circe by Madeline Miller. This one was one of my most anticipated reads all year because I absolutely adored The Song of Achilles last year. It was my best book of the year, so this year I couldn't wait to get my hands on Circe. And in this one, we follow Cersei, who is the first witch, and we follow her from birth to when she is largely shunned by the gods and left on a deserted island where she hones her craft. And it is on that island that she encounters many people from Greek mythology, such as Odysseus and his crew, Icarus and his father, and many humans and gods along the way. As with the Song of Achilles, Miller writes with such a gorgeous writing style, and she really knows what she's talking about. She has studied Greek mythology for a very long time, and she is a professor in that subject, so it really feels like you are right there and you know exactly what's happening and you're right in the action. She has spoken about wanting to give Cersei a more feminist retelling. To that point, I think that she did quite well, and it is a fabulous retelling, and it tells the mythos of Circe in a way that has never been presented before, but I think largely because of that, that's why it didn't do so well for me. So The Song of Achilles was 5 stars, and largely that is because I'm very familiar and have studied the Iliad in depth. So I knew it was coming, and the part that makes it so heart-wrenching is that with every decision the character makes, you know what is going to happen, so it's kind of the sorrow of the end is compounded over time, whereas in this novel I don't know the mythology of Cersei or barely anyone that is in the book other than Icarus, who is only in the book for a short time. So the compounding sorrow that I felt for Song of Achilles just wasn't here in Circe. Overall, I really enjoyed it, and I do recommend it, and I will be reading everything Miller ever writes, but yeah, overall 4 stars. Next up is The Heart's Invisible Furies by Boyne, who is an Irish writer. So we follow the life of Cyril Avery, a young boy, then man, growing up gay in Ireland from the 1940s to the present. One of the strengths of the novel is the way in which Boyne writes about Cyril's life in such an unflinching way. So from the way he is adopted in childhood and basically othered in his own home, to falling in love with his best friend, to experiencing very dangerous sexual liaisons, to having found the sweetheart, the love of his life, and then having that ripped away, to the sweet salvaging of a family up until the very end. The way in which Boyne writes about Cyril's life was just so heartbreaking and devastating and really real. I felt like the way that characters reacted would be a way that people would react in real life. So overall, I gave it 4 stars. It was extremely good, and it taught me a lot about Ireland's history with gay rights, classism, sexism, and religion. So for that, I am very grateful. And the next book I'd like to talk about is Venus in Furs by Leopold von Sacher-Masoch. Sorry. It's written in German and it is from Austria. So we follow Severin, who is a man who wants to be enslaved by the woman that he has fallen head over heels for, Wanda. And this book was released in 1870 and largely gained a sense of immortality when the term Masoch was added to the psychiatric vocabulary. So along that line, last year I read a complete dumpster fire book by the Marquis de Sade because I was learning about the term sadism. So this time, learning about masochism, which is the opposite, I was quite nervous, actually. But the book starts out completely differently than I thought it would. So essentially, Severin is a man who is on a grand tour of Europe, and he encounters Wanda, who is a lady on a grand ladies tour of Europe. And he is enthralled by her, and he starts to feel these stirrings that he wants to be made submissive by Wanda. And it is Severin who convinces Wanda to become the woman that she eventually becomes. So this book, there were parts that were so hilarious. Like, I'm just going to paraphrase a scene for you. So it's the first time that he ever asks her to beat him, and she has a whip, and he, I believe, is like on a pole or something, and she like throws the whip, and not even that hard, just like a little, and it hits him, and he goes like, ah, and then she's like, oh my god, are you okay? And he's like, whip me again, and she's like, your ass is crazy. So, I mean, it wasn't like exactly like that, but it was like that. So it takes a long time for him to convince her to do the sort of things that he wants her to do, and they go back and forth about love and about obsession and about letting you go and about control. And I found this book overall very funny and very sad, ultimately. So actually I would recommend this one. I gave it 4 stars. So next up I have Geek Love by Catherine Dunn, another completely fucked up book. If you are not into reading about messed up families, drugs, poisons, evading the law, terrible things within a family, just a lot of like borderline terrible things, not even borderline, just like completely terrible, then this is not for you. Do not read it, do not attempt it, do not read any part of it, and it's absolutely not for children. So in this one we follow the Benuskis, who are a carny family where the mother and father have basically taken it upon themselves to breed their own carnival oddities. So the mother takes poisons, she takes drugs in order to facilitate the mutations of the children. So there's Arturo, the Aqua Boy, who wants to be extremely famous and control the whole family. There's Iffy and Ellie, who are conjoined twins who play the piano. There is Ollie, who is the albino hunchback. And there is Chick, who seems normal, but he actually has the weirdest gift of all. And as the carnival travels across the country, they gain fame and revulsion for the things that they do. So in the beginning, this book was pretty hard to get into because it's actually really dense, like just a lot of words per page. And also the writing style is pretty unique, where the word choices the author uses a lot of the times are deliberately to make you feel unsettled and completely discombobulated. I had a bit of a trouble getting into like the first maybe 50 or 100 pages, but then after that I realized I had been strapped into a roller coaster to hell and everything was going to shit around me, and like this book just went insane places, and it made it seem that like the character would just say something and you just accept it, and then when I was talking to my husband I was like, and then this happened, but you wouldn't even believe it, and he's like, whoa, 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 back it up to that thing that you just said, and I was like, yeah, I know, but that's not even the craziest thing, like that's just like a side thing. Like the side piece in the story is completely bonkers, and that's not even like the main thing. Overall, I found this brilliant, twisted, dark, and I gave it 4 stars. The only reason it gets 4 stars is because I'm not convinced that the ending left me completely satisfied. Okie dokie. And the last book, which is my highest rating for the month, somewhere between a 4.5 to a 4-star, is All Systems Red by Martha Wells. Now, this one is the first in the Murderbot Diaries series, and we follow Murderbot, who is a sentient AI robot who has been sent to an outpost on a planet where the humans are scouting to see what dangers and pitfalls are on the planet before other humans come and like colonize it. So Murderbot is awesome. Murderbot is all of us, because Murderbot's like, yeah, I don't really want to be told what to do, so it hacks its own system and basically makes it so it doesn't have to follow the orders that it's getting from like the headquarters. So headquarters is like, hey, open your email, and Murderbot's like, no, I'm not gonna do that, thanks. So instead, Murderbot just wants to be left alone, and he just wants to binge watch his favorite trash TV, and I feel like Murderbot is essentially all of us when we just want to be left to our own devices. And I mean, beyond obviously that funny bit, Murderbot is also trying to find out how he fits into the world, because he starts off being really nervous around people and shy and socially anxious, also same. Murderbot, same. And then he starts to develop the very barest beginnings of relationships with the humans around him, and it's just so sweet to watch. Like, honestly, Murderbot is just such a sweetie, which is weird because it's like a biotech combo named Murderbot, but there you have it. So if you are into sci-fi or sentient AI or anything like that, then I would really recommend this. The next one is coming out soon, and I am really highly anticipating it. It's either this month or next month, called Artificial Condition, and I'm here for it because I love Murderbot. Yeah. So that finishes up my review for today. Part 2 is coming very soon. It should be published like at the same time. So if you're looking for more wrap up or my face, then go ahead and click the like button or hit the subscribe button. It would really mean a lot. And I will chat to you guys later. Thank you so much for sticking around. Toodles!